Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to give you all the other deck that I've been trying to test out and play a little bit, which is the newest hero that we have available on our assassin friend Arachne. It's a deck that I've been messing with back and forth, and I've played, I'd say about not a ton of games, only like 10 plus games with the deck. Just my first thoughts on it and where I think I would play the hero, at least initially. Obviously, there's some deck choices that will probably change over time. This version of the deck list will definitely be down below, don't worry. But I just been messing with it. I've done pretty well. I'd say like a 60% win rate. Nothing crazy. It's definitely something between this. I had this version of the deck and then another version, which is another list I've been playing. This deck so far is 2-1. The other list is like, I don't know, like 7-3 or something like that. Something crazy. 6-3, so not too bad, but overall, really fun hero. For anyone who's not aware, Arachne is a new assassin hero that basically says whenever you play a word with a card with the word contract, you may look at the top card target of your opponent's deck, and you may put it at the bottom or keep it on top. What this allows you to do is if you have cards that will banish certain cards on hit, if those cards match what's on top, basically, then you get a silver token, which really helps. So it's a kind of a mill deck. It's kind of a more control deck, a little bit of disruption, but not so much disruption, more so than milling their deck with a couple cards that do disruption. We'll talk about those in a second. But yeah, my core philosophy with the deck is to go tall, and to play it similar to Icelander, where you just outvalue your opponent. You block with 2, maybe even 3 cards from hand, depending on the hand. And you really wait for a good swing turn when you can block maybe 1 or 2 cards and then have a really good turn the next turn. So we'll kind of talk about that. We'll talk about what the core of the deck is, talk about what the swing cards are and stuff like that. So overall, the core of the deck is all of your 0 cost attacks that can banish something. So in Arachne's kit, there's a bunch of different stuff you can do. And if I go in the edit tab here for a second, I can show you some of the cards that I didn't pick. So every card basically will banish a different type of card on hit, or not banish, but they all banish a card off top of the deck, but it'll create a silver token based off what kind of cards you banish, right? So Annihilate the Armed will banish attack action cards. Fleece the Frail will banish anything 2 or less base block. Leave No Witnesses is a swing card that banishes red cards, but also banishes a card from their arsenal. It's basically a command and conquer. You have Nyx the Nimble, which banishes reaction, or which gives you a silver token for banishing reaction cards. Plunder the Poor, which gives you a silver token for banishing cards that cost 1 or less, so on and so forth, right? So there's a couple of them in here that I picked that are 0 cost ones that you will see that type of card in most decks. So for example, I did not pick Nyx the Nimble to be in my main board because its contract is when you're contracted to banish opponent's reaction cards, whenever you complete this contract, create a silver token. So unless you're playing Warrior, you might not get that silver token from this on hit as much because it is a reaction card. Now it is a 1 for 5, which is really good in Arachne, but I like the 0 cost cards because what the 0 cost cards allow you to do is they leave you a little bit more flexibility and you can block with 3 cards from hand really well. Definitely something I'm still thinking about, but what to see. So another one that I did not put in was like Rob the Rich, which is just cost 2 or greater. This would be really good against Guardians, maybe pretty decent against Icelander as well, but not as good as you would think. And a 1 for 5 again. This could be a good sideboard card, but I just didn't put it in the main part of the deck. And then the final one that I not put in, and then one I put in the sideboard was like Sack the Shifty, which is for go again cards. Basically, obviously, if you're playing like Fi or Katsu, this is really good, but it has to have go again, base go again. So like this really wouldn't work against Briar, it wouldn't work against Viscerai. So it's more of a sideboard card, but there is a lot of aggro in the meta. And with Katsu having some good new toys, I thought it'd be a good sideboard card. So if that makes sense. So the core of the deck is all the 0 cost cards that attack. So my 0 cost cards are Fleece the Frail is one, which is you're contracted to banish opponent's cards with 2 or less block. There's a lot of people that have 2 or less block. Obviously, most aggro decks have a lot of 2 blocks. And then a lot of people that just have casual attack action cards that have some type of bonus that give. So because of that, they have basically 2 block as a way to balance them. So this works on a lot of different cards. I have it at blue and red. Another 0 cost card is Leave No Witnesses. This is a swing card though. This is one of the key cards in the deck, so we'll come back to that. Plunder the Poor is one I put in. Cards that cost 1 or less. There's a lot of cards that cost 1 or less in a lot of different decks, honestly. So other than Guardian, really. So it really works on a lot of different ones. I put Scar for a Scar in here because there are times where you're managing your life total. It's not quite like Icelander where you're playing really far from behind. Not really far, but far from behind a little bit. It's more of like tit for tat in life a lot, at least in the games I've been finding. So having that Scar for a Scar in there to help maybe with the more aggro matchups where I might be down in life just a little bit and help to maybe get a 2-attack turn off. Like going in from a Scar for a Scar into a Leave No Witnesses is super nice. And I've had like turns where I had a Razor Reflex and Arsenal, and I had Leave No Witnesses and Scar for Scar on Tunic, and I played Scar for Scar for Go Again. Then I played Leave No Witnesses for I used my Tunic counter, razored it for 7. So I did 11 damage, and I banished 2 cards from basically one from their deck, one from their arsenal. So it really helps with that. And then I'm running full Slay the Scholars. This is your contracted to banish a non-attack action card. Pretty much every deck has those. Literally every deck for the most part. So I like it because it's 0 cost. At red it's 4, at yellow it's 3, at blue it's 2. They're all 3 blocks, super nice. So yeah, cards I could see adding in the future, right? I could see, adding in Nyx the Nimble. It is a 1 for 5, just to have that 1 for 5, but this is probably the last one I would add. The next one I'd probably honestly add is probably Rob the Rich, just because 1 for 5 costs 2 or greater. A lot of the meta decks right now have expensive cards. Icelander, Oldheim, even Bravo is making a little bit of a comeback, right? A couple other cards. So I could see putting that in there, and so on and so forth. So that's basically how that works. Then you have like the other core package of cards is your defense reactions. Again, I'm trying to go defense reactions and then buffs. So my defense reactions, I'm running 3 Fate for Scenes and 3 Sink Belows in the main board just to help me a little bit manage my life total. And then my reactions, I'm running 3 Cut to the Chase, which is target assassin attack action card. Man, that's weird to say. With contract gains +3. Look at the top card of your defending hero's deck. You may put it at the bottom. So basically, you can cycle 2 cards from their deck with this and the attack, because the attack will trigger Arachne's ability. Then this will trigger again, and it gives you +3. I have Lead the Charge in here to be able to possibly have like a 2-attack turn. Sometimes it works really well, and I can even use it as a bluff depending. I have Nimbleism in here. This works on every attack in the deck. It's set for surgical extraction, so it's really nice for that. I enjoy being able to come in with Leave No Witnesses for 7. Come in with any of the 0 cost attacks for 7 is really nice. And then we have the other buff we have is Razor Reflex, obviously, is a really good one. And then finally Shred. We have this at red. I'm thinking about putting this in at yellow, but we'll have to see. I might swap it in for something else. But at red right now, I really like it because you can literally eliminate a defense reaction from the chain pretty much. And it doesn't do anything. And this works on equipment as well. So it says target card defending an assassin attack gets -4 this combat chain. So if they try to be really greedy on like a Leave No Witnesses and they block with like 2 pieces of equipment for 4, you can play this and diminish one of their blocks down to nothing, and now Leave No Witnesses hits. So it all depends. But yeah, that's the buffs. And then some of the other non-attacks I have is like Lead the Charge. I also have Payday. Payday's, is really just honestly a blue block 3, but when I can, I try to play it right. Like the problem with this card is that it's really nice to get those 4 off, but you have to give the previous attack Go Again and then play Payday. So like you have to play a 0 cost card for the most part, not 0 cost, but you have to play a card for the most part, give it Go Again with your boots, and then play Payday, which again is nice. But like the weird thing about this card is it's really conditional, and you might want to attack in it. So we're still the Verdict out on that one. As far as the swing cards, this set got a Majestic. We got 4 Majestics: Payday, Leave No Witnesses, Eradicate, and Surgical Extraction. Payday is kind of like the normal Majestic. Then you have 3 thematic Majestics: 1 at red, 1 at yellow, 1 at blue. The red is Leave No Witnesses. Basically, its contract is whenever you banish an opponent's red card, create a silver token. When it hits a hero, banish the top card of their deck and up to 1 card in their arsenal. So you can basically banish 2 cards on hit and, you know, banish any red cards, obviously. Or get silver token for any red cards that are banished in that way. At yellow, that's at 0 cost. And then yellow, which is 1 cost, they made like 0, 1, 2 for the cost for these Majestics. You're contracted to banish yellow cards when you do create a silver token. When this hits a hero, banish X cards to their deck where X is damage dealt by Eradicate. This card is bonkers, especially against aggro decks that want to try to be kind of greedy. I've already had turns where I had a blue, an Eradicate, a cut to the chase, and like a razor, and I did it for 4, and they're like, okay, whatever, banish 4 cards off top of my deck. Then I did cut to the chase, then I did razor reflex, so all of a sudden I was hitting for 10 go again, and then it and I banished like 10 cards off top of their deck. So I literally banished, like, at that point, like a fifth of their deck by the time they were down a little bit. Really nutty card. And then the blue one is Surgical Extraction, which you're contracted to banish blue cards. If you do create a silver token, when it hits a hero, banish a card from the top of their deck, look at their hand, and banish a card. So you basically just get to remove a card from their hand. Really, really powerful. If you can buff this, it's super nice. So yeah, that's the main board, 60 cards. For equipment, I have the 2 spider bites. These are so useful. Being able to play one of these into like an Eradicate is so nice because it hurts their blocks against one of your big swing cards. There is an argument you only have to use one of these, but it all depends. I'd still use 2 right now until I find a better reason not to. The boots are really good. I have Snapdragon Scalers, in the sideboard, but I'm probably going to take them out. I really don't need snaps. Black Tech Whispers, I think the least amount I've ever gotten it off is 2 so far in 10 plus games. So really nice for that. Tunic is your chest piece, obviously. The big question mark right now is your arm piece. Right now I have Ironhide Gauntlet just for the extra block, but right now we really don't have anything else. I don't know if there's another assassin equipment coming out. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. There could be. But right now I just have Gauntlet. If y'all think there's a better arm piece, please let me know in the comments below. Then we have Mask Pair Edition. Obviously, this one I usually get off like twice a game just to help banish a little bit more, and it has Battle Worn, so that's super nice. And then the sideboard, I have Sack the Shifty for like Katsu and Fi. I have Shred for Icelander for extra blues, but also for like the Oldheim and the Bravo matchups. Anyone that blocks really well just to kind of maybe have a little bit more reactions I can use. Command and Conquer just for people that value their arsenal. I have Unmovable in here for Oldheim and for Bravo because I've been seeing a good amount of those. Arcane Lantern in here for the Wizard matchups. I just take out 1 Spider Bite, super nice. Null Rune Gloves, Null Rune Robe because I run 3 AB, which is, you know, normally running a lot of AB isn't as useful, but in this deck where you're going to be playing the long game anyway, running 3 AB is not even that big of a deal. So yeah, this is my initial deck. The things I'm looking at to maybe change after some more testing is 1, see if Lead the Charge is really worth it. I think it is right now at least, but it's kind of remains to be seen. The second thing I want to look at is taking out Snapdragon Scalers, having an extra slot for that maybe. And then the last thing I'm looking at is just a bunch of these cards that I'm not currently using that I just don't see as useful. Maybe a couple of them that I can put in, like maybe another Annihilate the Armed or a Nix the Nimble, just to have a good 1 for 5 in there. But overall, I'm super happy with the deck. I hasn't had a ton of trouble. Its hardest matchups obviously are like main aggro. The key to this deck and what I'm seeing when I play Katsu against this deck, because I've played against this deck like 4 times with Katsu and won every time, because you get greedy. Do not get greedy and try to go super wide with this deck. Pick your spots when it's useful. It's similar to Icelander. You have to play it the same way. I play it in like a go tall type deck, but if you're trying to go wide, you need to be really patient and realize that you're playing the long game with this deck. You're not trying to wipe an opponent out. I think people are just getting a little bit too greedy with this deck, especially when they get like Eradicate turns and stuff. Like, you can Arsenal this and then wait till the next turn or something. Like, you don't have to hold all your cards to try to play out a 7 attack card that's going to banish 3 cards. Like, if you take 15 to 20 to the face, which I've seen them do already, just to deal 7 to me and banish 7 of my cards, like, yes, it's really nice, but like, now you just went down 15 life, right? Or you're like an 8 life deficit already. And Arachne is pretty good at slowing people down, but he's not insane at it. So it's definitely something you need to think about. But overall, I really enjoyed the deck. Haven't had too many issues with it. Let me know what you think. Right now, I got 15 blues in the main board, 6 yellows, can go up to 17 blues. So hopefully it continues to do well. The link to the deck list will be down below. Let me know your thoughts on it. For any of you Assassin aficionados already, let me know what your thoughts, any changes you may make. This is just my initial crack at it. I think it's really good. Test the list. Let me know what you think. If you like this content, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not me, it's completely fine. Go to our Fleshbug creator, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. Join the Discord down below if you want to. Have a good time, chat with some friends, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much. Have a nice day.